We are on.
Okay, great. So it's I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's 10:04 a.m. on March 19th, and I call the meeting to order. I'd like to thank everyone for attending. We're holding this meeting in a hybrid format, so you're welcome to attend in person or virtually. The guidelines we're going to follow is, first of all, the meeting is being recorded, so if one person at a time could speak, and if you could mute yourself when you're not talking, and if you could please state your name before you start talking. We're going to proceed through the agenda, which is on our website, and we're going to start with a brief land acknowledgement. The Public Safety Civil Service Commission acknowledges that we are on the ancestral lands and waters of the Coast Salish and Duwamish people and their descendants. We honor with gratitude the land and the people past and present. All right, so next time is introductions. So Rachel, why don't we start with this end?
Rachel Shoddy, I'm sorry. Police Exams Administrator, Public Safety Exams Unit.
Mike Nelson, Public Safety Exams Manager.
Amy Jo Snowberger, also with the Public Safety Exams Unit. I'm in the Fire Exams Analyst.
Teresa Jacobs, Executive Assistant. I'm Andrea Shealy. I'm the Executive Director.
Richard Green, I'm one of the commissioners.
Naya Mays, one of the commissioners.
Joe Levan in the City Attorney's Office, Legal Counsel for the Commission.
Sarah Butler, Operations and Policy Advisor.
Just Tom, you want to introduce yourself?
Tom Applegate, Public Safety Civil Service Commissioner.
Thank you. Anyone viewing us or joining us remotely would like to introduce himself? They don't have to, of course. All right.
Sarah Lee for the Seattle Fire Department.
Hi. Thanks for being here. The next item on the agenda is public comment. Did we receive any written public comment?
I did not.
Okay. Anybody want to make any public comment? Going once, going twice. Well, all right. So there doesn't seem to be any public comment. Approval of the minutes. I've had a chance to look at the minutes of the February 19th meeting, and they seem accurate to me. So I would move that we approve those minutes as distributed. Is there a second?
Second that.
I second that.
All right. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Thank you. Those are approved. The next item on the agenda is updates and discussion. We have first the fire and police exam unit updates. So Rachel, do you want to start with this?
Sure. And I think this Adelaide. Yes. Okay.
I'll pull her.
Okay. So Adelaide, did you want to start with the entry level information?
Yeah, happy to. Hi, everyone. This is Adelaide, Public Safety Exams Analyst, and happy to talk about police officer exams and what we've got going on with that. So for entry level, our applications are continuing to come in at a steady rate. We've actually already surpassed 1,000 applicants so far. As of this morning, we were at a total of 1,046 applicants. If our applications continue coming in at this rate, I think we will either be on track to meet or surpass the number of applications that we had last year, which was a record number. So that's definitely good news. We are continuing to send over lists of eligible candidates who pass the civil service exam every other week. We send those lists to SPD. Those biweekly lists, I would say, pretty consistently contain about 50 to 55 candidates each. That's also been coming in at a good pace. And so far this year, we've referred a total of 263 eligible candidates to SPD on those eligibility lists. And they are working on, doing the next steps, which are the pre-employment screening processes like the physical ability test and backgrounding and all that good stuff. For lateral exams, we are having applications kind of also coming in at a pretty steady rate. Our next lateral oral board administration is going to take place this Saturday, the 22nd. And I think so far we have 5 candidates signed up to participate in that interview. So it'll be a pretty full day. Looking forward to it. And I think that's all I have for entry level and lateral.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, Adelaide.
Yeah.
So with regard to our promotional exam processes, we administered the written exam for police lieutenant on Friday, March 7th. We had 20 participants for that exam. Applicants or participants rather had the opportunity to come in and review a key copy of the exam. And there were three protests filed to exam questions. One of them was granted by the development committee and 2 were denied. And then we had no requests for appeals on the decisions on protest. So that's what we have going on for Lieutenant. We sent out all of the exam results. Actually, Phoebe, we got back from our consultant all of the scores, if you will. And so we sent those out to the applicants so they're aware of what they're where they stand with regard to the written exam. And we will be scheduling them for the oral board assessment exercises, which are scheduled to take place the last week of April, starting April 28th. The captain's exam, we got all of the scheduling letters out for the captain's exam. That happens a little bit earlier. That will be the first full week of April. That starts on April 7th, and we have 21 individuals to whom scheduling letters were sent out. And the chief has been invited to speak to the assessors who are flying in from all over the West Coast departments. We have assessors come to us in order to serve as scorers, if you will, of the assessment exercises, and that's really following best practice. We don't want those who are scoring the exercises to be those known to those participating in the test. It has to be, no relationships whatsoever. And so we have 8 folks who we have coming in from San Diego, Sacramento, San Jose, variety of departments on the West Coast in order to complete that scoring process for us.
So that's on the 21st,
That's on the for captain on April 7th.
April 7th.
April 7th.
So the appeal, if there are protests and there's appeal, they've got what, 10 days to do that?
Typically, they have 3 business days in which to come in and take a look at all of the scoring criteria for those exercises. And then there is no designated period in the rules for how long that appeal period is after for any decisions made on protests. It's highly, highly unlikely. We don't typically get, it's very rare, shall I say, that we get any kind of request for review on decisions to protest for assessment exercises.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, it's more typical on the written exam question.
Gotcha. Great. Any questions anyone has of Rachel? All right.
I do have one question, Commissioner Applegate.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Just relating to I'm aware of past issues with notification for the scheduling for the oral board exam. And I was curious, is the oral board exam, the invitation, is that only sent by email or is it sent other ways?
It is sent via email. And yeah, to the candidates individually.
Okay.
But we also tell people when the events are actually going to occur long in advance. So they know, 9 months in advance when it is that we have scheduled the assessment exercises to occur. We have that draft schedule. So they know that general time frame, and when they participate in the test, we also communicate with them about those dates as well when they take the written portion of the exam.
Yes, I appreciate that that they are given notice. I guess I'm just aware of, at least on the fire side, at least 2 individuals who had issues receiving notification for their invitation to participate in an exam. And so, there's unique situations where someone might be on disability and not checking their emails, different things like that. I'm wondering if it would be possible to somehow put a notification on the Public Safety Civil Service website for folks who are not either have access to that email or checking that email, or if the email gets sent to the wrong email. Is there a backup way that we could just post that and make sure that anyone who's wanting to take that exam is aware to check their email for the invitation?
So the dates of administration typically are on the PSCSC website. So they would have visibility to that. I don't know that we would put individual communications on our website. In other words, scheduling letters for individual candidates, I don't see us putting that on the website. Is that what you're asking? I don't.
I suppose what I had in mind is a notification that invitations have been sent out for a captain's exam, and if you don't have, please, and they've been sent via email. There was some confusion on a separate applicant. They thought they were going to be receiving a letter, so the person was checking their PO box for a letter, was never aware of the date of the lease on the fire side of the exam, or that they'd been invited to it. And so what I'm curious about is if on the website you just say, hey, these invitations have been sent out. If you, for whatever reason, this got in your spam or junk mail, or it was sent to the wrong address, please reach out to us if you don't have an invitation in your email. So it would just be a general notification that these invitations have been sent so that folks can go to look for those if they don't already have them.
Tom, this is Andrea. Commissioner Applegate, this is Andrea. I think your suggestion that we put the dates when we know how many dates and which dates they're going to be for oral boards, we definitely can update the PSCSC website that, you know, oral boards or assessment exercises will take place, you know, for instance, April 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. I think that's a really good suggestion because we don't always know, because we're not sure exactly how many people will be taking those exercises. And sometimes those dates don't get up on our website. So, so that we can definitely do. And you and I can also take this conversation offline too, because I think I know the instances that you're talking about. So we can make sure that the candidates have notice on the website.
Bringing up at the meeting is just simply because as commissioners, we don't have a mechanism to speak about any of this, given Open Meeting Public Record Act rules. And so I just wanted to bring this up so that everyone could be aware that, you know, we did have an instance where an invite was sent to the wrong email, so the person wasn't aware of the test. They also have instances of a person checking their PO box, they thought they were going to be mailed instead of emailed the invitation. So I'm just trying to come up with a way to make sure that those who are invited to the test are aware that they have an invitation. That's what I'm working towards here.
Yeah, that sounds great.
This is Commissioner Hayes. How many emails go out? Is it just one, or is there numerous like follow-up notifications, or?
In terms of actual scheduling emails, it's typically one, and we'll ask them to, you know, respond to let us know that they received it. And then, you know, many times there'll be actually two. There'll be a follow-up saying, have you received your email, your scheduling email.
Are most of the communications about the exam process done through email?
They are. Yes, we used to use, you know, snail mail back in the day, but everything happens at such a accelerated pace now that doesn't really fit our needs. So email is a lot quicker for our candidates to know and, you know, schedule their calendars accordingly.
Thank you. Any other questions? Great. Rachel, thank you much. And so who's going to do the fire exam update? Oh, you are. Okay, great.
Amy Jo Snowberger with the Public Safety Exams Unit. I'm providing the fire exams updates today on behalf of Yoshiko since she's on vacation, well-deserved vacation. Several updates for entry-level firefighter. The register was published on February 28th, and the fire department is now proceeding with pre-screening the individuals that moved forward. There were 705 on the register, and the top 25% plus, I believe it was 104 positions were moved to SFD for pre-screening. For lateral entry firefighter paramedic, that register was published on February 27th. The fire department is also conducting pre-screening on those individuals. The 26 on the register all moved forward. And the fire department hopes to start those individuals in June. For fire lieutenant, we had 55 candidates complete the written exam. We did receive 6 protests, but again, we did not receive any requests for review. And we have the next component, the oral boards are scheduled for Saturday, May 17th. For fireboat engineer, we published the final bibliography on March 7th. So that exam is currently in development, and the written portion will be administered in early June. And one more update, since we are moving toward testing for firefighter on an annual basis, we have already begun the pre-planning activities for the 2025 and 2026 administration.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions? All right. The next item on the agenda is the fire and police staffing updates.
Yeah, why don't we turn to Director Lee, who I see on the phone. Are you able to give that hiring attrition update?
I will defer to Dory because Dory is the gatekeeper for that information. Dory, are you
Oh, yeah,
want to do that?
I'm here. Hi, Dory Towler, Seattle Fire HR. We've had 17 separations year to date. We hired 38 into recruit class 122 and had 3 recruits return from a leave status for a head count of 41. We've lost 5 recruits from recruit class 122 and are currently sitting with 36 in that class. Our uniform budget pocket count remains 1,112 and our current uniform staffing is 1,003. Hannah will be scheduling 2 sets of expedited pre-hire screenings. June 2025 lateral firefighter paramedic expedited recruit school, August 2025 regular recruit class 123, and then fall 2025 EMT class for recruit class 124, which will start February 2026. That would be recruit class 124. And then hopefully recruit class 125 in August 2026 will be off the new register when we get annual testing going. Any questions?
Dory, let me just make sure I get those recruit class numbers right. I know I got 125 is August 2026.
Mm-hmm.
And tell me the difference between class 123 and 124.
123 is August 2025.
And that's
That's
the
the next
regular
one. Yeah. That's the one we're hiring now.
Great.
And then 124 would be February 26th and 125 August 26th.
Thank you. Does the class in the expedited recruit school, do they have a number?
No, because we're
Okay.
never doing it again.
That's true.
1, 0, never again.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Any questions that anyone have? Okay, great. All right. Alan, do you have numbers on the fire? Sorry, the police department?
I do, Commissioner. Well, they're not brand new numbers. My most recent report is dated March 6th. Sorry about that, but as of March 6th, we had 34 hired and 16 separated. The fully funded full-time employees, we have 1,076 that's authorized budgeted pockets. The current staffing, and again, I'm giving you an old number here. This is the year-end 2024 figure still. That's 1,019.
Mr. McKenzie, can you speak up a little bit? It's really hard to hear you.
I'm sorry, do you want, is this a little better?
Not really. Not really. Can you tell us how, we heard the 1,076 authorized funded pockets, and then after that?
After that, I said the year-end number for 2024 is the best I have for you in terms of current staffing. That number is still 1,019.
Okay.
I was also asked to give some additional information. I hope I'm coming through clear enough for you. happy to respond to those questions.
Go for it.
So I was asked to find out, have there been or will there be any SPD only academia classes? So the answer to that is the department is in regular contact with the CJTC regarding accommodating our increased hiring pace. Although a Seattle only class will continue to be discussed, there is no current plan for one. Our current needs are being met with the existing classes. I was also asked to comment on whether SPD is able to process and hire eligible candidates that the PSCSC is sending over every 2 weeks. The answer to that is that process improvements in how backgrounds are conducted, the onboarding of a tech solution for electronic case management of backgrounds, and increased staffing in our recruiting and background unit have allowed the department to process the candidates we are receiving. This is born out of the significantly increased hiring pace. I was asked how many employees were probationarily separated in 2024 and so far in 2025. The answer to that question is 10 last year and 4 so far this year. And I think, oh, there is one other question. How many SPD recruits can the Academy process this year? Not sure yet. That will depend on the state funding of the CJTC. I don't believe the budget has been released yet. And we're in frequent contact with the CJTC to ensure the department's needs will be met.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I seem to recall there was once upon a time, somebody said something about having another criminal justice training facility other than the one in Bury. Is that, am I making things up, or is that?
Rachel, are you able to speak to that?
There are actually a lot of satellite spots that have been opened up across the state. I want to say Bellingham, Spokane, et cetera. However, what's in question right now, from what I understand, is the fact that the state has not completed their budgeting in terms of how much money is going to be allocated to CJTC to schedule classes for the remainder of the year. I think they have classes scheduled up through the summer, but it's like how many classes are going to be open after that. And I think that applies to all of the locations.
Okay.
They're just looking for what funding they have available to them.
All right, great. Thank you. Any other questions of anyone about these numbers? Okay. So the next item on the agenda is the Executive Director of Budget and Departmental Updates.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Green. I'm actually going to turn first to Policy and Operations Advisor Sarah Butler to give us a preview on this upcoming rulemaking and timeline.
Great. Sheely, last week I sent out some proposed rule revisions to our stakeholders, which are public safety departments and their staff, as well as public safety unions. The scope of these rules revisions is limited to bringing the rules in compliance with Ordinance 127, which passed last year as part of the budget process, and that was reorganizing the public safety exam staff from SDHR into the CIV department. The current rules still contain some references to SDHR. It's just sort of the old organizational structure that is no longer true. So the scope of the rules revision is to identify where those corrections as appropriate. There are no policy decisions involved with this rules update. The rules proposed for revision are about 5 of them: 2.13, 8.07, 9.09, 9.15, and 9.20. In some cases, SDHR is left in the rules because they do serve a different function that doesn't involve overseeing the functions of our exam unit. In the course of doing the review, I discovered some formatting irregularities to clean up, and I took the opportunity to apply some gender neutral language to our rules, which is common practice across the city. Notice was sent to stakeholders last Monday. I had not received questions, concerns for anyone. And so we will proceed with the schedule, which is to publish notice of proposed rule revisions in the Daily Journal
Of commerce.
of Commerce on April 3rd or around April 3rd, and then as well as publish the changes on our website, open up open forum, and receive public comments, and then to have the commission adopt this at the next meeting.
Great. So when is our April meeting?
April 18th.
18th, okay. And was there when you sent out to the stakeholders, is there like a time frame they are expected to come back?
Yeah, I sent it out on the 10th and asked for them to send me the 17th. It's not good, so.
Right, and the official public comment period will open on, I think we've got it scheduled for April 2nd and 3rd. That's when we'll publish and put it up on our website. And those stakeholders are obviously welcome to comment, right up until the deadline, where we'll have the meeting on the 18th.
Great. And so any questions about the proposed rulemaking? Alrighty. So budget update. Julie?
Thank you. You've got your budget update at page 6, and it is the same update, I believe, that I gave at the last meeting, because this is still what is available on our internal finance database. But, our spending this year is what we would expect at this point in the year. We've had no unanticipated costs. More sort of timely is that I am working on our update for our budget submission for 2026. That is due in several weeks. And we also do not anticipate any significant new spending, or we're not planning any cuts to services. But I believe that we are appropriately budgeted for 2025, and hopefully the city will be able to maintain that in 26 and into the future.
Great. Any questions? All right. So department update. Is there anything for there?
Yes. Just briefly. Our staff was able to meet with new Seattle City Council member Mark Solomon last week. It was a very good meeting, very positive. He comes from the Seattle Police Department, so he is familiar with our work, as is his staff. And it was very pleasant to meet with him. He and his staff offered to put some information in their newsletter about the Civil Service Commission and Public Safety Civil Service Commission, so we're drafting something for them. We appreciated meeting with him very much. We also just received notice today that our vacant position that the City Council added at the end of for the 2025 budget has been classified, and we will be able to move forward with a hiring process for that public safety examiner senior that will add the capacity for us to do yearly firefighter testing. So we're very excited on that. We're also going to hire an intern this summer to do some work for both of the commissions, to look at past decisions, both administrative decisions and disciplinary decisions, and sort of gather that information, put it in a useful format for both commissions to utilize, and also just sort of look for patterns, things that are binding that maybe happened before any of us started working for the commission that current commissioners and future commissioners should know about.
Great, great.
Well, let me just mention a couple other things, or do you have a question about that? Yeah. Ms. Jacobs asked me to give you an update that we heard from the Ethics and Elections Commission that they are not going to seek financial interest statements from commissioners for 2024. So you're off the hook for that form. You did any lobbying. And then my final item to update is that we'll be sending out an email, and I think we've already sent out an invitation to all of the commissioners about this, but we would like to convert the August 21st Public Safety Civil Service meeting into a longer session, to use that as both a retreat and primarily as a training session for commissioners to help prepare you for the hearing that you will have in September and future hearings to kind of go back and do some nuts and bolts on how to hear a case, some rules of evidence, for instance, and we'll be developing that training in partnership with our attorneys in the city attorney's office. So I hope that you'll be available for that longer session on August 21st.
Great. Any questions about, and so we're not doing the financial interest statement.
You are not doing it.
Okay, we take that one off the agenda. All right. So the next item on the agenda is the case status report.
Yeah. Yeah, happy to give the case status report updates, and those start at page 7. Ms. Jacobs, thank you so much for putting this case status report together. This is a long one for us, but I'll just go matter by matter. So case number 25-01004A, that is Allen versus SPD. This was a disciplinary appeal, and as you can read, on March 5th, the appellant requested to withdraw their appeal, and so I did issue a dismissal. For matter 25-01001A, that is Dave versus Seattle Police Department. That was also a disciplinary appeal, and on March 11th, that appellant requested to withdraw their appeal, and I did dismiss the appeal. Matter 24-01004A is Hill versus Seattle Police Department, also a disciplinary appeal. We conducted the first pre-hearing conference. And thank you to all commissioners for getting with Ms. Jacobs on your availability. That hearing is scheduled for scheduled to start on September 22nd through the 26th. And that is a hearing that we will, is prompting us to do the training in August. And finally, matter 24-01006A, England versus Seattle Police Department, also a disciplinary appeal. And we conducted a pre-hearing conference. We might have conducted a second pre-hearing conference in England, did we? No, just the first conference. Okay. What was the one we did last Friday? Yeah. Okay, well, in any case, we will be scheduling a hearing in the England matter as well. And, oh, yes, I'm sorry, 2 other matters. I might have updated on Officer Willis versus Seattle Police Department, also disciplinary appeal. The parties reached a resolution, and Officer Willis requested to withdraw it, and I did dismiss that appeal as well. And finally, a fire. This was a appeal, not disciplinary, and I reviewed the appeal and dismissed it as it was not timely. Dismissed that on February 21st, 2025.
Okay. Any questions on any of those matters?
Oh, and I'll just add for the record that the case number for Schinkelberg was 25-05002R Pro, and for Willis versus SPD, it was 24-01007A.
Okay. All right. There doesn't seem to be, are there any action items that anybody wants to? Okay. Any need to go into executive session today? Any old or new business? And so our meeting time is on a Friday.
Yes,
Okay.
April 18th.
Okay. So after that, do we go back to Thursdays? I can't remember. Well, I guess it doesn't.
Yeah. I think there may be one more that we have.
Yeah, I think it's November 8th and we go back to Thursdays because of my schedule.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, great. All right, well, is there any other business before the commission? If not, I will move that we adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion about that? All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Aye. Okay. All right, so we stand adjourned at 10:39. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.